So, has the ANC failed in its renewal project, or is it too soon to pass judgment? Political analyst Dr Sam Koma joins us now to discuss this. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Doctor. We do appreciate it. I think there's always been criticism towards the ANC from, if I can call them, the elders or previous leaders like Thabo Mbeki. Do you think this criticism handed down by the former president is justified given the state of the ANC today?
Oh yes, thanks Heidi for the opportunity. So my sense is that former President Mbeki's remarks should be viewed in the context of him trying to caution the ANC to keep track of the ANC conference resolutions, which were taken at its last national conference that took place in Nasrec, December 2022. He is worried that the year is almost gone and the NEC has not yet actioned some of the resolutions. So if you look at the ANC conference resolutions, there is one specific and explicit resolution on the renewal of the party. The resolution says the NEC is instructed to develop a short-term renewal program of action with clear time frames and a clear monitoring and evaluation framework that focuses, one, on the quality of the membership, two, carry out or undertake an audit of the membership, and three, look at the strengthening of the leadership selection process. Of course, the other part looks into fighting corruption and all of that. So he is worried that the ANC is left with almost 2 years to go to its National General Council, which is the NGC. It's a gathering of branches of the ANC where they review the implementation of the conference resolutions. But it should also be stated that one noticeable achievement which has been recorded by the ANC since its last conference is that so far it has managed to revive its youth wing, which is the ANC Youth League. It now has a new leadership. The ANC Women's League also has a new leadership. The Veterans League also has a new leadership. So it's a party that is demonstrating that we are not sitting on our laurels. We are preparing the ground for the 2024 national elections. But of course, Thabo Mbeki is quite correct to say the pace. And I like the fact that the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, is also alluding to that in terms of the pace at which this current NEC has to action this specific conference resolution on the renewal of the ANC.
Certainly. So as much as renewal is top of the agenda for the ANC NEC meeting this weekend, Dr. Sam, I think it's also imperative that we speak about the state of this country and the state of local government, municipalities. How is it that people are dying of cholera in 2023? How is it that people don't have access to water, that we have this ongoing energy crisis as much as, there are measures in place to deal with it? That also speaks to serious issues within the ANC, that where the ANC runs in local municipalities and local government, these services are just not being delivered.
Yes, Heidi, so you're quite correct. So the issue is around what we call the deficiencies of state capacity. So if you look at the state of municipalities, you are quite right. A number of them, till this day, are failing to execute their constitutional obligations, which is to ensure that access to basic services are provided uninterrupted to local communities. And also failure on the part of many of these municipalities to spend capital budget, which is meant to cater for infrastructure projects. So part of the problem is also that most of these municipalities are unable to, or they don't want to prioritize the issue of acquisition of talent, either at the managerial level and also at the technical level in terms of getting the engineers, technicians, and also other capabilities to assist these municipalities to be able to respond to the needs, the expectations, and also the demands of local communities. So once that part of the capacity of the state is prioritized and decisive interventions are put in place, we'll continue to have these serious setbacks. If you take the case of Tshwane with the 20 people who sadly died out of the cholera outbreak, we know that there's been a probe that has been sanctioned by the president looking into the 200 million rand that was channeled to look into the maintenance of the wastewater treatment plant in Tshwane. So those are some of the issues that needs to be tackled decisively by the state, comprising of the leadership of those who are responsible to run these institutions.
I want to ask you, perhaps in closing, Dr. Sam, about, really actually giving credit where it is due, because maybe I'm just speaking too soon, but we have seen some progress in terms of the energy crisis. And this is probably, I would say, one of the biggest challenges we face in this country at the moment, because it affects every single aspect of our lives. It affects every single person in this country, probably hits the poorest of the poor the most. And there has been progress with the appointment of an electricity minister. We have seen lower stages of load shedding. Do you think, though, that the ANC understands, as a ruling party, the issues that people face every day, despite the fact that half of Joburg doesn't have water and people died of cholera? But, do you think, from your assessment, that they understand the severity of this, or do you think they're just working really hard because it's elections next year?
No, the ANC is mindful of the reality facing majority of South Africans, the socio-economic conditions in terms of our poverty levels, unemployment levels, inequality levels. Especially if you read some of their resolutions, but also you look at some of the policy interventions they are generating at the level of the government. But what has been the impediment in terms of ensuring that there is fast tracking of the implementation of these novel interventions is this lack of capacity of the people that get appointed to carry out this electoral mandate on their part, but also ensure that the institutions are able to fulfill their constitutional obligations in terms of, for example, if you look at the Bill of Rights, access to adequate housing, water, sanitation, basic education, issues of health, and all of that. So it's about the party, which is the ANC, but also those who are in government, making sure that when it comes to priority around acquisition of talent, they make commitment around it. They don't compromise in terms of who gets into these institutions to run them. But you are right, the Minister of Electricity seems to be actioning some of the interventions that are part of the National Energy Action Plan. There's been some noticeable improvement around that. But if one also refers to the International Monetary Fund report 2023, it does project an economy that can grow by 2% if Eskom and Transnet are fixed. So there should be dedicated attention and focus around these two state-owned companies that play a very crucial role in the running of the economy of South Africa in terms of energy security and also ensuring that our rail and logistics are also properly and also operationally ensure that they are efficient and also effective.
Okay, Dr. Sam, let's not give the government any ideas. Just now they appoint a Minister of Rail. But thank you so much for your time this evening. We do appreciate it. That was political analyst Dr. Sam Koma just speaking to us about the ANC NEC meeting and whether or not the ANC is capable of renewing itself.